So what's up everyone, it is Mitchell aka The Walker in Orlando, and y'all, I can't even just put into words how exciting this is because we are back with another epic universe update, but not just any update. We have our normal construction update coming down the line. However, Universal just this morning released an entire video on Epic Universe, and they go into great details of Celestial Park and even more information and great concept art of all of the other lands. So we're going to check all that out, plus all the construction that is going on at Epic as well. So make sure you grab those boots, grab those hard hats, because it is time for an epic construction update video.
Why you keeping me waiting? All I want.
So I want to go ahead and just quickly start into this because Universal releasing the video they've released of Epic Universe, I am completely jacked way the heck up about this. So we're going to start off, hopefully I show some clips of that first to start with, but we're going to show off here the overview of Epic Universe right now. As you can see, really coming along, really looking absolutely amazing. The fact that you really can tell where everything is. I like this shot also because you can see Terra Luna and Stella Luna across the street, and I just love how Starfall Racers, which has been officially announced as the name, just dominates the skyline here. So we're gonna I also want to show you this cool picture from back in 2021 of January and tell you just this is the difference we've already seen between the two. So really quickly, if you're curious where I'm getting all my information from, or my pictures, it is going to be from BioConstruct. And also, it is going to come from the Universal Orlando website as well, because that's where the video and all the information about Epic Universe is going to be. So I want to show you guys all the construction work as first before I show you any of the renderings that they've got or any of the stuff I've been able to pull from it. So first off, we're going to start off with the portal or the main entrance into Epic Universe. So first you got right here, you've got the archway, which now knowing what we see now, there's going to be a giant tower on the very top of this. And I was so focused on all of the cascading waterfalls for a while that I completely never even realized how many fountains are going to be in this thing. So here's the second picture. This is a view of looking behind the entrance out across this, across all this. And this wall that's kind of right there, that's actually you're going to walk out into, and there's going to be a giant statue right here in the middle. And I am so excited for this. Here's a great aerial view of the entrance area, because like you see on the bottom right, you've got the actual entrance coming into the park. You've got the cascading waterfall effects, the area where guests you'll be coming up to and you'll stand up into it. You got shops on either side. Like I said, no official word on these, but there is one shop they did announce. Here's a great view where you see the security checkpoint. At the very bottom right, you've got the ticket and guest service booth area. Going into the portal, which this is nothing what the portal is going to look like at the end. But here's the actual concept art I wanted to show you guys of it, because this absolutely looks stunning for the entrance. And the way they describe this is that this is like where all the planets align, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. But this portal design is going to be the same, just like all the other ones are as well. So it's something really, really cool to keep an eye on as we continue on. But the biggest thing is them immediately debuting Celestial Park, and they really announced a lot with Celestial Park. I mean, first off, the concept art is absolutely amazing, but we're going to start out because I really want to showcase, we're going to show you all the concept art once we look at the construction update. I'm hopefully going to put in some of the clips of the video as well, because I think it'd be really cool to look at. But first we're going to start out looking at the Starfall Racers, which officially got announced, because a lot of this was going off based off permits that we were fully aware of. And so you got Starfall Racers right here. The size comparison of this attraction compared to like the How to Train Your Dragon space is absolutely incredible to me. Here's a great view of coming out of the first launch, going into the top hat, where you can kind of see you've got this purple. You see the purple on the very bottom, but then you've got the brake run that takes you back into the station itself. But the little bunny hops they've got just looks like these things have so much airtime. Here you've got where it showcases the back half, where you got the top hat where number 1 is. Then you got the Celestial Spin, where they will crisscross, the trains will crisscross each other as they roll through. So pretty stinking cool. They've got this little site preparation off to the left-hand side of Starfall Racers. No official word what that could be, but I think it could be just like a team member break space or anything like that, because it does look like it is going to be back of house. So that's probably a good space for it. I mean, this is nothing also it could be more shopping. You never know. Here's kind of the back half where they will make the turn. They'll go out, they'll make the turn back to come back, and they end up not even going back to the station. They come back and they go right into the second launch of the ride. Right outside of Starfall Racer, you can see the original entrance area where they had a lot of the colorful concrete work is now covered up by a protective sheet to kind of help make sure that stuff doesn't get worn out already, because they want it to all look as beautiful and as pretty as it possibly can get. Here's a great look of the front section where you have, this is going to essentially be Comet, where essentially they're saying you're going to be riding on a Comet. But you can see at the very bottom, they've got all the scaffolding around the Comet work they're still doing, and these little these little circle track pieces, not the very bottom, but like in the middle, that's going to take you from the actual main queue house into the very first launch section of this ride. They got a lot of the work going on the roof. On the very right here, you can see that is where the second launch will take you into the back half or the front half of the coaster. So, and then it actually will swing you back around to the back half. So like essentially you get launched, it'll take you through the crisscross little circles underneath, and then it'll take you back into more of the spaghetti bowl that is this attraction. More of your work being done. Like you can see, they've really started to work on the green side of it, but you can see they're starting to wrap everything, so this has still got a lot of work to go. Here's the hero saying, so you come off the launch and you can see they come up, one goes kind of to the right, one goes to the left, and they kind of go up and they crisscross, but then they go up and over into some negative airtime hill sections. Here's where your coaster actually is, and you can see where the arrows are. That's actually the direction that the coasters will be traveling, which I think the bottom left one is wrong, because the way it comes off, the one that's on the dark yellow, not the bright yellow, that arrow needs to be flipped because it's be going the other way, because they're going to pass each other as they go for another close encounter. Here you've got more of the rock work being done, but they also have some of these theming pieces on the ground that looks like they're going to be going up onto the Comet itself. You can see the Comet's very much just got a lot of steel work being done, a lot of the welding being done. Here's another good view of a lot more theming going on. These black pieces underneath, these black pieces actually are protecting the track. What they're used for is to protect the track, put a layer over the track so that the track doesn't get damaged by all the work they're doing around the actual coaster track itself. And then one more really good look of the track pieces that are covered will take you into the first launch area. But you definitely see really the theming going on in this Comet space. But you can see, you see the kind of the dark yellow coaster track, how it's covered by that black thing, but that goes right into this rock work, which I'm pretty sure is gonna have fog and everything and lighting. It's gonna look really intense until you get that first launch, which I don't know what the first launch is gonna be, where it's gonna hold you and then launch you, or what. Here's even more look at, you can see they're still really working on it. It's all still just kind of the plain metal, no real paint has gone onto it yet. And here's just a great look at where the main entrance is going to be going into Starfall Racers, where you'll be able to also stand kind of where all the, you see all the tracks piece, all the tire tracks are. You'll be able to really get a good look at that. And then here, a lot of the cascading water features in progress right now, for where you'll be able to go coming from Grand Helio, which did officially get announced by Universal. So then you've got the water fountain feature as well, and you can see it looks like the water fountain, the show fountain, has officially finished up with the color it's going to be, because they've got this protective walkway, and you'll get a better look at it. And you can also see there's a little splash pass underneath. Here's a great view of the show fountain, where it looks like they may have some seating space for it as well, maybe for a daytime show, which may actually get a daytime show, unlike some things we got from Disney. You can really see all the work starting to be done on the outer edge. It's as much as work has been done, there is still so much work to be still happening as well. Just a great view of the actual fountain. They haven't even started putting in the actual fountain pieces yet, the actual show fountain parts of the pieces. So we still have all of that to look forward to. You can see where the water is going to drain in on these little pieces on the edge. There's a great book with I think, I can't remember what they called it, and I'm gonna be really frustrated when I hear it later. But they have the splash pad right here on the far left, right next to where it looks like they got this little tavern, and in the top right, they got a Pan-Asian restaurant coming, and that just got announced this morning with Universal. You got a great view of the restaurant or bar that's going to be right next to the show fountain space, because they are going to have a show fountain with some projections going on to Grand Helio with fireworks in the background. Here's got the steel frame of this restaurant that's going in. They've got some decorative side work, and just the rotunda looks pretty much complete. So now they just have to start putting up the walls and any other decorative pieces. You can see they started putting in the ventilations for the actual food, like where they'll be cooking, the kitchen area. Ooh, this actually, I didn't get this piece. Look at this great close-up of the entrance of Starfall Racers. Like I said, the colorful concrete work that have been worked on is covered by a protective sheet right now to help keep it from getting damaged by the sun or just general, like with movement. You can see they even put a temporary fencing around it so that people, with all this heavy machinery, they don't accidentally drive over it. And then you've got the restaurant area that's going to be between Starfall Racers and the show building as well. Here's the splash pad, which I can't remember the name of it, like I said. Here's Constellation Carousel, which did officially get announced by Universal. So Universal's video this morning only announced Celestial Park in heavy words, and this is insane. Looks like they got some of the pieces starting to go in for the actual mechanics of the attraction. You can see that they got this heavy crane. It's going to be lifting all these pieces up in and over. That's why you've only seen a little bit of the dome work. And you can see even a little bit of painting has gone on the top left. You can see the crane lifting the pieces up again. And like I said, it looks like that is the actual like carousel pieces. So it looks like the actual ride components going in. Here's a great view of where this relates back to Super Nintendo World. And this building off to the right where Super Nintendo World is, they've actually announced this as a Nintendo Superstar shop. And so this is going to be another shopping thing for Super Nintendo World. But I think this is a great idea because you have a little bit of the merchandise that will be at Super Nintendo World will be in there, probably the power-up bands. But pretty cool to see how it all looks. Here you've got the restaurant. It looks like it's going to be called Atlantic. It's going to be here with the cascading waterfalls with water fountains in the middle of this. You can see here's a great view of where the water fountains are, and then you've got the cascading waterfalls that take you to the main entrance of Epic Universe. Another just great shot. You can see Celestial Constellation Carousels on the far right, going over into the Atlantic restaurant with the How to Train Your Dragon portal in the bottom left with Super Nintendo in the top right. And then there is this big area that has been cleared kind of right smack in the middle of Epic Universe. Now, I'm not 100% sure what this could be. Could it just be another, they may be building another shop, something of that nature, but it's just weird random opening space they've cleared out. Again, no official word what this is, considering you have this top-down view of it. It just looks like it's just been really cleared out for something. Now, maybe more water features, maybe more landscaping. I don't know. There's so much that could be done with this. Here's a great view of, you got Grand Helio on the right with the Pan-Asian restaurant in the bottom, right next to it with the Dark Universe area in the background with the show building, or show fountain right here, and then Constellation Carousel. So it kind of tells you how it is. It's exactly lined up, as I said. Grand Helio being kind of on the top and then all the way down through. And then one really good view of where you can see Constellation Carousel, the show fountain, the Grand Helio Resort, and where the fireworks are going to be launched off from the lake behind. So pretty much all of the concept art and video that were released, I'm going to show you guys. So we're going to start out with the where the middle of the park restaurant is, and it's going to be the Atlantic restaurant where it's going to oversee the water, but it looks like it's going to sit down below the water level, so it looks pretty stinking cool. Here's that Nintendo Superstar Store rendering, which is the shop that'll be right next to Super Nintendo World, which is something I didn't expect. I mean, this kind of popped up last minute in my mind because I didn't see it or really much on much of the buildings. But here's a great view of Constellation Carousel, and they have even really cool footage of it operating as well, so I'll hopefully put that in there with it. But this thing looks absolutely amazing. It's got beautiful colors. It's coolly designed because it's not like a regular carousel. It's like 3 little circles within a giant carousel, so it's going to create such a unique, and plus it doesn't have like the overhead thing, so it's a completely new design. But the big thing is Starfall Racers, which I'm glad they finally announced this as a full thing. But I do love that you can kind of see on all the construction that we just looked at, you can see all of the work being done on the Comet and everything, and you can definitely see all of the work being done, and especially all the clips. Hopefully, like I said, I'm putting all those video clips in from Universal's video that they released. Here's the Pan Am Yui the Blue Dragon rendering restaurant that's going to be right next to the Grand Helio Resort. So this is amazing. I'm really excited for all this. This is Celestial Park. They really just dropped everything they could all in one. So we are going to go ahead and start out with Dark Universe, which is probably my second most anticipated land that is going to be here at Epic Universe. So here is going to be the overall view. You've got the main portal entry going in. You've got the manor attraction in the back right. You got the Curse of the Werewolf on the left. Here they kind of got, looks like they've got so you got the Burning Blade Tavern, which is going to be one of the sit-down restaurants, or like one of the quick service sit-down food places you're going to be able to eat at, but they're working on a behind the back of the house sort of building, probably like a break space for team members and everything. Here's a great view of coaster cars in the station for Curse of the Werewolf. And you can even see off to the left of where you see the cars, you'd actually see there's like a little like garage door and a wall to separate that, so you won't be able to see the actual track going to the maintenance building. Here's a great view of the burning tavern with the back of housework being done with the Curse of the Werewolf coaster right here in the middle. And like I said, this is a spinning coaster that's going to have a swing launch in the middle of it. Here is the Burning Blade Tavern. It looks like on the very top of the tower they've got, looks like the mechanism to have the blades rotating, and there has been some talk that they will be on fire as well. So that would, if that's the case, geez. You can see at the Burning Blades Tavern, you can see that they've got the plywood down to cover up the like concrete work they've put in, so that they can leave it and stays protected. Because a lot of times once you put stuff down, you don't want to have like these machines running over it, all the foot traffic, because then you may have problems where you may have to go back and fix it. Here's a great view of the Burning Blade Tavern. On the top left, you've got the manor, the entrance to the manor attraction, which this entrance looks amazing, but this ride building is huge. And you've got Curse of the Werewolf mid-course launch right here at the very bottom. Here's the manor front entrance. They've got a lot of theming going on. You got the purple kind of going in. That's where they put all like the concrete and the rock work on. And you can see the show building behind it, and just the sheer size of the building compared to the actual manor. Also, I like all the construction workers in the top left. Here's a great view of looking down at the actual manor. You can actually see where the extended overflow queue is going to be off in the top left. A lot more rock work being done. It looks like they got a lot of the main like front part done, but now we're really working on the main facade entrance into it. Here's your overflow queue, which they've recently, from the time we saw it to just now, the queue has got a lot more work done because they've been able to add in all of these trees. The crypt's getting a lot of work, so this is going to be a really cool overflow, and I kind of hope this is like a normal queue for it, because I would love that. More work, look at it, because you can see from the other side, you see all the trees going in. You can actually see kind of the pathway starting to be dug out, so you can see where it's going to be going. There's a very little entrance, looks like that's where you'll end up going either in or back out to go in and out of the ride from the overflow queue. Here is the entrance point, so where number 1 is, that's the actual entrance gateway for the manor attraction. You got number 2 where you kind of have a slope where either it's going to be water or maybe just a dry moat, and number 3 is they've got some theming added to there where it looks like you'll be going in, so it tells you where you may walk into the actual manor all the way through, and then off to the left where that overflow area was for the attraction. Here's kind of a good overview. Kind of gives you the idea of the space for just the queue, possibly maybe like a pre-show area that then leads you into the main building for the actual attraction, which is going to be on a Kuka arm, very similar like Forbidden Journey. And I know a lot of people aren't real excited about it, but I think it's pretty cool because they've got some pretty cool patents in place to make it look like that, like Frankenstein's walking towards you. Some animations with like Dracula, because it sounds like it's going to be Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman. Another good view of the entrance space that we were talking about. You can see all the bones and the rock work and all these things have been added. Looks like that's all been done. So now they're working their way down and working on the main gateway of the attraction. There's a more overview of the overflow queue, where with all these tree works, and I mean during the day it's going to be kind of interesting, but at night, this part doesn't stay open at night. Something's not right. Here's a great view of, this is what I mean talking about. You can see where the entrance to the manor ride is. You can see the ride building, plus probably where like the maintenance bay for the Kuka arms are going to be. You can see where the village is on the bottom right, and the Curse of the Werewolf space as well as. Here is the backside of the portal to Dark Universe, and I'll tell you what, just the footage I hope I showed at the beginning that Universal released, y'all. This is going to be probably going to be the most popular land outside. I mean, they picked 4 great lands to do for this. I mean, it is amazing. What a fantastic view of it. I mean, like, just knowing what they're going to do with it now, that's kind of like purple lightning. It's going to have purple effect. The purple color is going to look so good, especially when all this is done. Because, like, this is just what it looks like right now. And then we still have a year and a half until this potentially opens. That's another year and a half of adding theming and everything else to it. Here's a great overview for the village space. It looks like you got the, like where number 1 is, that's where it looks like they're making a cemetery where you walk through when you come in through the portal. You got the gateway in the top left, and number 1 is going to be for the attraction. Number 2, some stone wall theming for the village, kind of that facade they're building up. Number 3, they've added a roof peak for, they've kind of merged a lot of the stone together. Number 5 is kind of where you have the broken walkway piece, and number 6 is where the exit's going to be for Dark Universe. Great aerial straight down shot of the village, which amazing. Now I saved this for the end because this looks absolutely amazing. So here's a great aerial overlook of the Curse of the Werewolf coaster. Here's the other side of that swing bridge. And now what I originally thought was that the swing bridge was going to the swing launch was going to be on the back half. This is a very short coaster, but looks like a lot of fun because you actually launch off from the far left into the swing launch. So then you come from the swing launch and you go in and do this little like section around. And again, these are spinning coaster cars, and you can see all of the walkways being worked on. You can see kind of where all this is going. The queue itself's got all this plywood put down while they're starting to work through it. A lot of that means also that they probably haven't built the queue itself, and they're just mapping out where it goes, and then they're going to see if it works for it. And then what a great aerial view of Curse of the Werewolf. And so this thing just has so much going on. But what the biggest thing is that there's video out there, and I'm going to hopefully put that in, of them testing the swing launch system of this coaster, which makes this the first coaster being tested at Epic Universe, which makes sense as it's the smallest of the group. This is the smallest coaster that they have and everything else. So the fact that they're already testing this showcases how far along it is. Now, this also means that like they're having to be mindful of where everyone is. They can't test with probably a lot of the workers around because they haven't put up any of the they've got a lot of temporary fencing around where the coaster comes close to the ground or like where machinery can come to it. And just one last good aerial overlook of the sheer size of this land. Like I said, that manor attraction, you got the main space we're talking about, but that whole entire show building is huge. Like it is. I'm really excited for that, actually. Like, I know it's a Kuka arm, and it's probably going to be like how it is with Forbidden Journey. It can be a little uncomfortable, but I think it's going to be really cool, especially they add in all these new patents they're adding. So, yeah, let me know. Are you guys excited for Dark Universe, and what are you most excited for Dark Universe? Alright, now we're going to jump into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, or Harry Potter and the Ministry of Magic, and finding out that more information about this is that it's going to be the show building, or the show area is going to be from the 1920 Paris, where the Fantastic Beasts series goes, and the actual attraction is going to be from the 1990 Ministry of Magic. So, first off, scaffolding is coming down. So much scaffolding is coming down, and we're just going to go right through this. You can see that one of the 5 streets, is what this is called, has all the scaffolding down. You can see they started working on this facade at the very end of one of these streets, and I bet you there's going to be a giant mural to like maybe whoever the Minister of Magic is. You can see all of how well this all looks, how everything looks weathered. Still got a lot of pieces and parts still come out, but now that the facades are down and the scaffolding's down, you can start kind of seeing how they're going to look during the day. There's a great view. You can see like the very bottom, you got some like random blue. Now again, this all can get changed when they bring in they have more of the machinery coming in while they come in and maybe finish painting everything, because a lot of the scaffolding was to put like more of the detail work on, and now when you're getting to the coloring, you're going to have more of that come in. You can see the street work starting to get done. Looks like they've already started building down to build in drains, but it's just insane to me that now we've already seen the first set of scaffolding coming down for Wizarding World. Here you got the street that is in the middle where all that scaffolding was, and you can see where the drains are that they're going to be adding in. And this is a great sign because that means they're really worried about flooding, and at Florida, with the rain, this is going to be super helpful. Another good view of where you can see where the scaffolding still is on one of the 5 streets, and then around the corner you go into no scaffolding whatsoever. So this is the first sign of seeing what this is going to look like. And you can see like how the theming looks. I mean, it's 1920s Paris, so you're gonna have, that's what really this look is, and I kind of love it. Another just view of the other side, and you see all the weathering they've worked on and all the coloration they had worked on, the different types of theming and everything else. It just looks really good. Another good view of it. And I know it's not like I'm not talking a lot because it's really just being able to see all this. And then you can kind of see where the facade that they're working on, I talked about, is right here at the very bottom and everything else. And now you can really see a good difference of what the areas look like with scaffolding and without scaffolding. I didn't even recognize this little brickwork at the very bottom of the picture as well. Here's just a great overview of the center of the intersection of 5 streets in Paris. And so 1 street out of 5 already has scaffolding down, which is a great step in the right direction. Finally, we're going to get the portal entry, which hopefully you guys saw what the concept art is going to look like for that when it comes in. This is going to be cool, and I love the way they've done it with the portal. I think it's a great concept. No one else has done it like this, so the fact they've done it is amazing. Looks like they got some work done being on the area for the exit of the land. You can see where the arrow is. Kind of leaves you out because really I think they're going to be is that you go in the portal and the only way you can exit is just come back out and around. At least for the first couple of years Epic's open, as busy as it's going to be. Here you've got the Port St. Denis. They started on working on the mural a little bit more. The actual portal itself looks like they're not doing much work on it right now. Again, a lot of that more detail work will probably come in probably closer to the end of the year. Great backside view of where you'll kind of see where like more of the buildings for Celestial Park is. You've got these like guest service kiosks that they've been building up. And it kind of shows you like how big the portal itself is, which means they're probably going to have a lot of theming, a lot of lighting, and everything else. Here is the overflow queue space for the Ministry of Magic attraction, which we really don't even really have much word on it. Like I've seen stuff, but like nothing really makes sense to me when I read it. So, but you can see on where the arrow is at, it's the highest peak of the buildings in the Harry Potter Wizarding World space. Here is the narrowest street, and they're going to have like this 3D backdrop of like these turrets and like this specialty building that's in there, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I don't want to be that person to mess it up. But you can really see how narrow this street's going to be, but how they're really working on the engulfing you into that you're in Paris in 1920 with all these 3D facades being put up and everything else. And you can really see how narrow that street really is, because I mean they've connected the scaffolding all together. That's actually kind of funny to see that the scaffolding's all connected together in the middle, unlike the other streets where you couldn't really connect them because of how far apart they were. Here's a great scaffolding of the inner courtyard, and this will access the restaurant on the left side, so that's going to be taking you to the restaurant, and this can be reached by any of the 3 different alleyways where it looks like you've got on the very top, the middle, and then underneath. So you'll be able to go in, and actually it's going to look pretty cool because you're going to have to walk underneath these facades into a courtyard to get into where the restaurant space is going to be. Here's kind of some aerial look at what the facades look like right now, because they're still working on a lot of that weathering, a lot of the coloration that they've been working on, and then just the aerial look at the Haussmann style roof line. So you can see where the scaffolding still is, where they're working on it, and what it's going to end up looking like without the scaffolding. So just a really good overview of the Paris themed land, the Paris space, and everything else. And you can see off the far right where the actual attraction will be going as well. Like I said, it's supposed to be a Ministry of Magic attraction, no exact word of what's going to do, but you can see how big the show building for that is. So, but a lot of talk has been that underneath on the bottom right, bottom like of this space is that potentially an area for a Great Hall expansion. Now, no official word on that, but I could see it happening if they wanted to make it happen. I mean, really, Universal could do anything they want, just finding the space and the time to do it. Alright, so now we are going to move on to Super Nintendo World, or Super Nintendo Land, and I'm telling y'all what, this thing is going to be absolutely amazing. Very similar like what's over at Hollywood, except we get the Donkey Kong Adventure space as well. So we're going to be starting out looking at that actually. And so you've got the track space and everything for it. They've got a lot of theming. They've got like foundations for large theming events. You've got all the side work being done, like with the vines, and looks like the brick is falling apart. And I just love the fact that this coaster is a coaster with a sidewise track underneath, but it looks like you're riding on a track, so when you jump over things, it looks like you're actually jumping the cart, and that's such a unique idea. Here's another one where you've got some painted modeling on the bottom right where the number 2 is. Number 1, they've got a kind of staging for elements on the wall. It looks like they still got middle of that section of that wall still to fill in. But I like how it kind of transitions from like that gold to like the blue, but it looks like it's all falling apart. And then you kind of go into that section as well. And I think that takes you back into the actual like brake run / ending of the coaster for it. Great look at the theming being worked on. You can see the blue color with that little bit of gold, and I think it's all supposed to end up being gold or something, but it looks really good. Here's a great view of one of the sections where it looks like the track breaks and it's almost like you're having to jump over it. At one point it looks like the car will almost skid sideways going around this corner, but then on the very bottom you see like where the thing with the arrow is, this tall tower. It looks like this is going to be a water feature where you're going to splash down through. It's going to like splash. Also, so it looks like you're like riding on the water, which that looks so cool. Here's a great view of that. I mean, this ride goes out and in a lot. Like, there's a lot of in and out to this. So you're going to see mine carts everywhere. I think the energy is going to be so amazing because it's constantly going to be moving and there's nothing going to be really stopped. Number one is going to be a waterfall, which this is the idea that leads that this waterfall could lead to this water section where you'll be going in and out of the Donkey Kong like temple space. Here's a great overview where you can actually see where the initial start of the lift hill starts and takes you inside. Now this is going to be a lot of indoor-outdoor styles like attraction. And you can see there's 2 different lifts as well. You have the first main lift on the left and then the one on the right. You got multiple of these sections where you'll be coming in and out of the building, like going into the water section and then going into the ending. It doesn't even tell you what you're going to be doing on the inside portion as well. So it kind of shows you come off of the lift hill. Right on the left of the like main lift is the waterfall section, and then like all this stuff, all this work on the right is going to be like where the facade's going to go. Potentially a face is what they're saying it could possibly be, but it looks like that you go into 2 different lifts that, I mean, again, you don't even know what's on the inside because all you see is these cars will come out, turn, and then go back into the temple. Here it kind of shows you the second lift. As you can see, there's that second lift that'll take you up to the very top. Number 4 is where you kind of come off like a trim run to kind of slow you down, potentially to like let the next car that's behind you release. This is a really good view. You can see where you start the ride on the very top right, going up into the hill. You got all the different elements where you come in and out of the building. Like I said, there's not even saying what's also on the inside of this building. Like there's so much track we may not even know about. So this is a great look at the Donkey Kong Adventure space and the coaster and how much this really is going to like affect the area. Because I mean, this is something that's not even added at Universal Studios Hollywood. I don't think they can even add this space in. So the fact that they've got this also coming along, so it's kind of taking what Japan has learned, what Universal Studios Hollywood learned, and put it into one. Another great view, like I said, you got a lot of points where the carts go in, come out of the building, go back into the building, and then disappear, then come back out of the building again, and then finish up. And I do love this water feature that they're going to potentially be adding. So this is going to be a cool coaster. Now, really, we're going to be going into the main Peach Castle / Mount Beanpole space. You can see that they've actually raised the flag on Mount Beanpole, which means it looks like they're done with that space already. And all the Yoshi stuff is all done. They've got spots added for like raised roof peaks, and a lot more theming to be added to like Mount Beanpole. So you can see Mount Beanpole right there. You got a question box on the side. They've actually taken scaffolding from the very top and have already started removing a lot of that. Here's a great view of Yoshi's Adventure. You can see they've installed the 3 clouds. They're going to go side to side right underneath the flagpole, and all the cars have actually started getting water dummies into them. So I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I know it's a very little, it's a family-friendly ride, and I think it's a really good addition because I like the fact that it is. Here's a great view. You can actually see all those water dummies are already in, and as we saw, once water dummies got going in, they started testing, and they've even added also this scrim around it so that when they start testing it, if they're doing work overnight, they're not getting close to the ride path at all. You can see the Yoshi coming out of like one of the shell buildings and everything coming around. It looks like you even have a wheelchair designated car, so that if you're in a wheelchair and you can't transfer, they can transfer you into that. Which I think it's a great thing because I feel like Universal has really stepped up their game about doing that stuff lately. Here's a good look at where Bowser's Fortress is going to be, aka where the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge ride will be going. You can see off to the left, you've got some of the work on the like Bowser Jr. space, and then the main actual entrance into Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge will be right there in the background as well. It's a great overview of it. I mean, this is going to be a good ride. Like, I'm hoping they learn all of the bugs. They finally work out all the bugs because this will be the 3rd iteration of the Mario Kart ride. Great overview of the Mushroom Kingdom. You got Peach's Castle on the far left, which is where you'll actually be coming out of. And you'll walk out of Peach's Castle down the steps, and you have Mount Beanpole, Yoshi's Adventure, and then Mario Kart event off to the left. And like I said, you got the space where you'll walk out of Peach's Castle. And it's kind of funny that you walk out of Peach's Castle and then you'll see Mount Beanpole. Gives you an idea how far up this thing is, because all the way to the far left, you've got where the escalator is. And because they actually have to take this up, I like the fact that they're take you up to then go down a little bit as you go. There's a better view of the escalator, and especially all of that work. Now knowing what those tall like pillars are for, knowing that what they're for the portal itself looks it's insane. Great view of where Peach's Castle will be going, so you'll walk out, come up through it, come out there, and you'll be able to turn around, and there's Peach's Castle right behind you. Great another view, you'll be able to walk out of Peach's Castle, down those stairs, right over to Mount Beanpole, and you'll also see the little Yoshis going around as well, which is cool. So just a really good overview of the Mushroom Kingdom space, and I think this is why they've added in the Super Nintendo shop outside of the area, because of the fact there's not much room to work in, because I think they really just took what was already built in other places and just copied and pasted to also give us Donkey Kong coaster, minecart coaster. And then here's a great view. You can see where the show building is for the Mario Kart ride, the Donkey Kong coaster off to the right hand side. So the fact that you work your way up and then you have to work your way completely down, including you have to probably go underneath the Yoshi's to get to the Donkey Kong Adventure space as well. So it's going to be like the coaster minecart is going to be off to the right. And they haven't even built the wall up yet around it as well. And I don't know how much of a wall they're going to build around it. And then it just shows you the sheer size of Super Nintendo World comparison of the wrestling. It's probably the smallest of all the lands. I think Harry Potter may actually be smaller. So now we are going to move on to the land that I am the most excited for, and into the How to Train Your Dragon space. So we're going to start out by hopefully showing you the video that Universal did release. But here is the main area coming in. Like I said, you've got your lagoon, your boardwalk, these statues, and again, the water has been re-drained back out. So I wonder if a lot of that was to make sure that there was no leaks. They were starting to test to make sure things were watertight. We were talking about that recent development space that they were talking about right off to the right of How to Train Your Dragon. Not sure what that's going to be for quite yet, so still got to see what that's going to be all about. Here you've got some more rock work being done. You've got, looks like sounds like this is going to be a restroom space. Right next to where the one of the quick service locations are, next to where the second launch of the roller coaster will be going. The How to Train Your Dragon coaster has already got a train on the tracks, and I think it's purely to check to make sure everything is in line. They're starting to do their testing of the reach test of everything. You got the rock work off to the left of the second launch, where it looks like they're going to have a play area. And like I said, you've got the coaster car on the track. It looks like it's a 5-car coaster. Some excavation work, concrete and some foundations being poured near where you come off the boardwalk, next to the play area, next to the second launch of the coaster. Here you've got some electrical work being done, and you can see the trench has been dug all the way around it. And they've already started working on a lot of fencing. Right now they've got a lot of temporary fencing going around the coaster, but you can see like where those giant poles are on top right is where the actual fence is going to go. So here's your portal to the entrance of How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. And I tell you, they've really started working on this detail quite a lot. You can kind of see that each of these portals, kind of like what this one has, where it has like the full partial circle and then another partial mini circle on top, where they're going to have some sort of like character icon there. Here's the back side of this one as well, a lot of rock work, and it's really going to really spectacularly like just showcase everything all in one go. You can see you come off and you immediately go into the boardwalk, and you're immediately greeted by the Viking and the dragon with all that water, and it looks like they have the space past it where you'll be able to stand and like look over the lagoon. Looks like they've already started adding in some of their foliage, because they got to start adding a lot of that in so it has time to grow, and especially if you put it in now, you have that 1.5-year time frame for everything to grow, get really luscious, and really add into the spectacle what this attraction is going to look like, or this park's going to look like. Here's another lagoon shot of your Viking and your dragons with the boardwalk. Like I said, they've only have the workers walking on one portion of the boardwalk. You can see it's like been double covered and everything, so they're not walking all over, plus especially while they're still doing testing and stuff, and not a lot of the safety features are around it yet. Here's kind of like I was talking about, you come out of the portal onto the boardwalk, and then they have this like rigid edge of the boardwalk to be able to look at the lagoon, look at these statues, see the Viking ships and everything. Your close-up view of your tall statues in the bay. Very colorful. I love the fact that they already had painted these, because I think the idea is they're going to be a little bit worn by the time you show them and everything. Here's the work on the theater, which is something I actually haven't thought about. So they started doing a lot of the work on the theater. Here's your entrance where the marquee will be going, your entrance into it, probably the exit in space. Lots of more steel work still going up for that. Another good view, you can see where all the steel is coming in. And the fact that we're getting this show that they have in Singapore, I'm super excited about. And here's just another where the theater will go, the space that it occupies. And looks like you've got the area where it might be exiting / into potentially a shopping area. Now you've got the Spitfire Grill area right next to where the boat or the fire drill boat targeting ride will be going. You can see they've already put in the Spitfire Grill on the actual thing as well, and I love the design of it because you've got the dragons underneath heating it up while they've got a sword holding everything over it. And then they've got some space where they're going to have outdoor eating areas, so they'll be going over, that's where like this decorative steel's going. Looks like it'll be this outdoor seating eating area space where you'll be able to overlook the boat ride. So it's pretty cool. And here is the water targeting ride. I mean, it looks very, 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 very short, but if you've seen the ones like at Legoland or something, they're very short, but you're targeting things, you know, probably gonna have like 20 to 30 people per trying to target things. So it just means another game to learn how to get really good at. Another great overview of how this kind of fits in. It's very small in comparison to everything else that is going on. Now you've got some rock work being done on, looks like one of the shopping areas, where then they have small platforms they've been adding, and looks like this we're going to have some dragons sitting on the very top of it. Here's the other side of it, like so you can see those platforms very well on the top, a lot of the rock work going in. There's just going to be a lot of rock work for this. Here is a great view of Mead Hall, where they've really started working on the sculpting. Now they've got those those steel frame chips in place. You can see they haven't quite got around to the front yet, but you can see like they're getting ready to add in the scaffolding as well. You can see they got a little like archway. They'll go over a walkway that goes by where the boat ride space is. So you can see they've got a center crane lifting rockwork chips up to the frame of the dome, kind of off to the left where, like I said, we were talking about where the like shopping area is going to be. So they've got a lot more rockwork going vertical, and off to the right you can see where the spinning ride is. Here's a great overview. You got Mead Hall on the left. You can see where the Vikings were on the very front of Mead Hall. Finally got scaffolding all around them. You've got the track for the How to Train Your Dragon coasters going, where after it comes off the first launch, and all the wing nets just being, it looks like it's gonna be going over walkways, which is gonna be really cool. Here's a closer view. You can see that the Vikings that they originally had put up have gone behind some scaffolding. It looks like they get their rock work done, some painting done. So we won't see those until they're pretty much done with them as well. Here is a great view of the coaster, because we're moving on to the coaster part of it now, and you can see off to the left you've got the coaster like station area, which is going to be a dual loading and unloading station, which is going to help hopefully with getting trains in and out very quickly. They've got the wing nets coming off of the first launch, which I think kind of adds into the whole idea of it being like the How to Train Your Dragon coaster, and probably learning how to fly on a dragon. Here's the other side of it coming off the launch off the right and following the wing nets around, and it'll take you past the, and actually I like the fact that it goes over where you're coming from the ride itself, from the brake run back into the queue house. So like I said, you've got the station itself with the switch track for the two different trains can be loading at a time. The little like pre-ride before you go into the first launch, and this is a very, very quick launch. Like, so it's not going to be very fast, and it even has the launch mechanism going up the hill a little bit. So it's going to be a very simple launch. It's going to be mostly, I think, relying on it. But then the second launch is going to be all about the speed. So it's going to always be like how Velocicoaster is kind of built. But you can kind of see the maintenance off storage area. You've got the wall being built where they'll keep everything separated, so you won't be able to see that as well. Here's where you've got the wall being built. You've got the storage facility for the coaster cars, and where they can bring the trains on and off as needed. Here's the queue space that they've started working on. They haven't really, it's not like Curse of the Werewolf where you can really see anything. Right now it's just kind of an open space. There's no entry or gateway into this quite yet either. But it is pretty cool. I like the almost Viking ship look as you go into the station area, where it's probably more queue underneath before you go upstairs to get. So I think they'll probably, I wonder if they'll do it in such a way where they'll bring you up and into the middle of between the two tracks, and then load from there, and then you'll exit from each side. Another good view of the launch and the work they're actually doing on the queue itself. And I love all the different levels of different woodwork. Here's a great overview of the first launch, the brake run, and the storage facility area. Just gives you an idea, this is just part of the ride. We get this ride goes all the way from one end to the other end of it. You can definitely see they've already started adding in some of the fence work. They'll probably take you on and off stage. So again, I think this will be like the exit area from the coaster itself. But what is kind of cool is here's your second launch, and you can see how much higher up it goes, because that also, the launch goes up the hill a little bit as well. But you got a lot more of the side to side, a lot more hills. So it's really going to be a lot more like you're riding and holding on to the dragon, but you've got the spinning right off to the right. So the fact that that's going to be as close to that as well, there's going to be a lot going on. You can see they started working on a lot more of so now into the spinning ride, they've started working on a lot more of this concrete work around it. It looks like none of the, it looks like the left one still has the blue dummies in it still. It looks like the right one looks like they're done. So they may have been testing more than the left one. But you can see they started working on concrete and forms for everything around us. Looks like they're not testing this one anymore for the time being. More work being done, like I said. See the concrete they're starting to work on, some foundation pours, so probably the entryway / queue space for it, because they're probably going to have to cover this, because trying to keep a space that's not covered in Florida can be challenging. And this is just a cool view. You've got the Mead Hall with the coaster coming from the first launch into the water section, with the shopping space, with the spinning ride in the background, with the coaster track going by as well. So just an overview of the land. You've got, like I said, the boat ride, which again very small in comparison to everything else in this land. You got Mead Hall, which is going to be your formal either potentially sit down restaurant, shopping space, the lagoon, and this coaster and spinning ride. So this is not even close to how it's going to look once it's all said and done. All right, so we're going to finish off with the hotels, which Universal did officially announce that the in-park hotel is going to be called the Grand Helio Hotel. So as you can see right here, they've already started working on, the last time I saw this, they had just put in the structure for the dome, and they've already got the dome already pretty much like all the supports going up for it as well. You got the dome pieces off to the side, some staging for it so that they can be able to put that up. Looks like they now have some glass work in it, so it's going to look really good. It's a better shot of, you can see where they've put in like the ring that's sitting on top of the yellow structure that was put in to help house it. Here's your Grand Helio with the hotel parking, which they're going to have a garage. And off to the right, next to where the building is for Dark Universes, you're going to have, looks like, the bar and grill area. And then you've got the hotel pool starting to be built up as well. Here's a good overview looking at the hotel looking at it if you're looking at it from in the park. With the blue dragon like restaurant that they've added in, they're adding in at the bottom left. Just in conjunction how close the like hotel, the in-park hotel's bar and grill slash food slash pool and like area is going to be in comparison like where Dark Universe and this in-park restaurant is. Here's a better look. You already see they've already started excavating some of the space, started kind of going down. You can see where the outline of this pool is going to be. And this is a huge pool. So, I mean, makes sense. It is the in-park hotel, so you're going to be spending a lot more money to stay at this one. It's going to be more of your, like, Hard Rock Hotel pricing. And then just a good view of what you will expect when you do exit out, because you'll be able to have direct park access from the hotel. Now, you do have that park admission, but if you're spending money on this hotel, you're probably going to have admission to Epic Universe, and you'll be able to come out and you'll be able to see all the cascading waterfalls going into the show fountain as well. And then, just like I said, more work being done. Looks like they've already finished up on the kind of the bottom 3 levels, have got a lot of their glass in. As you get higher up, probably into the more expensive rooms and into like the suites and everything, that is still being worked on, plus the dome and the ballroom space. So this whole top section is going to be a ballroom and probably like restaurant space. So just a good view of the comparison of the size of it when you're looking at it and how it fits into the park itself. On to Terra Luna and Stella Luna. We're going to start out with Terra Luna, and you can see they've started working on finally putting in the pieces of the tiles going in. But right now it's just a very barren space of it. You see they started working on that. They've got they started with the blue, kind of working with the purple. You got their pool, which is going to be more of a circular shape, with looks like the hot tub on the very top. You got like the space for where the lobby is going to be, potentially shopping, food, everything else. You've got the water pipes going into the pool, and it looks like the pool room or like the pump room and everything. So that will all get covered once they're done getting all that installed and they find it's watertight. Now over at Stella Nova, you can see it looks like all of the tile work has been officially completed on it. Their pool looks like has been completed for the time being. All of the water filtration and pumps and everything look like they have been covered up. Their hot tub looks like installed, and looks like the splash pad or kiddie space has been installed with a potential bar and small grill with the lobby space behind it. So it's kind of what you expect to see when Terra Luna, only their pool is going to be more circular while Stella's is more oval. And it's kind of interesting to see this picture from a year ago that the in-park hotel hadn't even gone vertical yet. So it shows you how much has been done. So far, Epic Universe is just rolling along very quickly, and I mean there's so much to be looking forward to, especially now that Universal has finally debuted or has finally showcased some of their everything. But this is just one last overlook of everything. This park is coming along. In fact, we still have a year and a half before this thing debuts. It's still impressive. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. We talked through so much, and like I said, there is a lot happening, especially now that Universal has dropped this video and everything else with it. So many pictures, so many things still to come forward. There's just so much happening right now. And like I said, for you guys, my favorite land to be coming out is the How to Train Your Dragon space. So you guys gotta let me know which one is your favorite, but what else are you looking forward to? What is your favorite attraction you're looking forward to? And what thing are you hoping for to see at Epic that hasn't been announced yet? So make sure you let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. If you want to check out any more of our Universal, including more of our Epic updates, just check that video out right there, or that playlist right there, and I'll take you right there. So with all that being said, as we do head on out from an Epic update from Epic Universe, we will see y'all next time.